Okay, thank you. I'm reporting on the cross-cutting session that we had yesterday on validation activities. Yeah, you all know that validation activities, it's actually everywhere in the CAMS project, and many people are doing this, so we sort of take it for granted that it's there, and that we do this. It's used for model development, it's for operational assimilation. We use it for quality assurance, as you saw in the last two talks. But in fact, it requires quite a lot of different expertise. The data retrieval, its archiving and distribution of this data, the quality control, characterization of data, methods to compute the evaluation metrics, and then presentation of these the results. So, and these steps, they happen all over the place within CAMS in different ways. And so my question, so I'm not actually an observational specialist or a validator, I'm a modeler. But I had this question, so what's going on? And are we doing the right thing if we use these observations and this model validation? And how does it compare what we do to what other groups are doing in CAMS? So that was really my starting point, and I was very grateful to have this discussion yesterday with the many groups, and I think it was very useful to connect these different groups and communities that are working on these aspects. So there are many different types of observational data that are being used. I'm not going to list them all, and we focused just just to make it easy to talk to each other. For this discussion, we focused on the in-situ surface observation data, but of course this whole story holds for any data sets that we have. So what we did yesterday is we went through where we stand now with respect to the different data processing aspects for the global and the data retrieval, and then the evaluation or application to the global model evaluation and to the regional model evaluation at the different institutes, and how. So that's the key question: how can we improve the sharing and exchange on the data and on the quality control on these metrics and on the presentation? So I'll go through these topics then, and I sort of list where we stand now. It's my view, so it might not be fully correct, but it's yeah. So please bear with me, and then I'll list some things that I consider as challenges. So the current and sort of planned activities are on the data collection aspect is that we collect this data from EEA, but also from Airbase, from CORO, and they are collected at different groups and at different for different purposes. So there's different repositories floating around. In fact, I think, or not. I mean, I shouldn't say floating. Yeah, you know. Likewise, for the US, there's the data is downloaded, and for China, so we do retrieve this data from these different networks. Then there's also data mining activities and exploration. In CAMS 35, we have access to the OpenAQ and establish some ways to retrieve this data, but also the CAMS 82, the global validation, has this data mining activities. So can we team up there in one way or another? So that is maybe one of the challenges here. So how can we make it happen that we benefit from each other from this collection of data? Can we make sure that we have consistency in the existing data repositories that exist, so that if we validate or do model validation in one part of the project, and can we ensure that it's equally valid if we do this in another part of the project using another repository as an input? Or should we really try to be sure to use the same repository as a starting point to do all this validation. But that would also, you need consistency there. So that's some challenge, I think, in this aspect. The picture is one of the procedures, or the procedure in place at Meteor France that Valentin presented on the data collection. And then there's data quality control and filtering approaches that are applied. For the EU, there's this Joly and Pugh procedure and some additional rules that are on top of this to ensure the good quality data. This seems to be working well for ozone and NO2, but there's more problems, issues with the carbon monoxide and PM and SO2. So this is interesting information how to deal with this kind of filtering and how to so how can we best make use of this observational data, and what is being done at Meteor France, and can we benefit from this also for the global model evaluation? That's one of the questions that I have, and that I hope we can learn from exchanging between the teams. And also I learned that Fair Mode has recommendations on uncertainty of observations. I found that interesting, and that's we should take that into account as well. And also when we get new data with the data mining activities, how to make best use of it, and what are experiences that are done across different groups so let's share those things. Then the tools. So the tools to compute the metrics. There are quite a few tools around. FAIR-CORD by ECMWF. eval tools at Meteor France, Aeroval at Metno, and then the validation server developed by SNT. So they all have their different strengths and weaknesses, and can we what can we learn from one another? That's again the question raised. So, for instance, the plot here shown by Mehdi shows that how you compute the scores, even if you have the same underlying data, the scores can be different. So we know this, and it's so maybe it doesn't matter too much, but at least to intercompare between what is computed in one of the package to another package, you should be aware of these details. Also, so one thing that Henk raised is that he would like to engage people in the development of these tools, which is very good to tune this and to make best use of these tools. So that is nice to see. And these target model performance scores, the summary of the summary, as Michael presented. That's it could be exploited more maybe. And the challenges here with these tools. So it can be quite big software packages that are to be maintained and developed further. So keeping this up to date is just a challenge in its own, and needs some good scientists or technicians to maintain this. One aspect here is that you need on one hand flexibility in the metrics, but also user friendliness, so that it's easy for dumb users to just get to use these tools. Also, flexibility in data handling is an issue. And then the last stage is this presentation of the results. There's many ways to do this, web-based or pre-generated figures. So the challenges here is, can we serve any different user? and can we exchange on best practices and not repeat one another's solution? I mean, just take over what is best. And one particular issue that was raised by BAFO is the interoperability sort of thing that you can digest input data in the visualization that is generated elsewhere, so that could be something to explore further. So this, comes to my summary. So there's really different expertises required, but also definitely requiring overlapping knowledge and on these 4 topics. So we need to keep in touch with one another, and that's one of the last recommendations, just to set up this community. And to start with this, we will probably set up an email list, and you can, you will be invited to participate and to ask questions. And so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. So are there questions? We don't have too much time, but maybe still time for one question to Vincent on harmonization in scope of evaluations. No?